La 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 la.
Why in the world do we love Bloodborne? I'm sure many of us who are even remotely familiar with Bloodborne felt our anxiety spike just at the mere cries of a winter lantern. And if you don't know what that sound just was in the beginning, I'm so sorry the video started out so weird. Speaking of weird, I think each and every one of us who is a fan and who is especially obsessed with Bloodborne like I am have to come to a conclusion. We are not okay. No, this video is not going to be a deconstruction of Bloodborne's genius, nor an in-depth critical review of its gameplay. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. No, I want this video to be a jumping point for us to partake in a conversation about something specific to ourselves. I personally know that there's nothing I can bring to the table about Bloodborne that hasn't already been said, shown, picked apart, or Rule 34'd. What? Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is that I want to talk about my personal interests, especially when I was a kid, that would have most likely pointed towards me loving this absolute gothic Lovecraftian horror show that we all know and love as Bloodborne. And I would love to have a conversation with many of you as to what you believe led you to liking a game such as this. And without further ado, I can think of no better place than to start with another certain gothic town that I'm sure many of us love as well. Ah, good old Halloween Town.
I always hated it.
Nah, I'm joking. But for real, if you're not a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, get the fuck out. This is a very serious warning. Halloween Town is filled with all the wonderfully horrific whimsy that you can similarly expect from a place like Yarn. Werewolves, vampires, ghouls, gothic towers that, well, tower over you. I mean, Oogie Boogie is practically cosplaying as the moon presence right here. There's British people, these shithead kids. Okay, maybe not the best comparison. We even got Jack Skellington himself. In all seriousness, I feel that Nightmare Before Christmas was my first true introduction to all things macabre and shaped my earliest interest. It's what led me to the bleak yet hilariously ironic heartfelt story of Corpse Bride, or the concept of a beautifully haunting parallel paradise that's ultimately out to fucking kill you in Coraline. Or the apocalyptic nightmare fuel that is the movie 9. Although Yarnum may not be in a parallel world, the nightmare layer sure as hell can be, and after that ritual secret has been broken, Yarnum starts to show its horrific truths. There will always be something so incredibly unnerving yet awesome that the moon presence is just there, watching. It's almost as if you stare just long enough, the silhouette of the moon will stare back. Before it gets too creepy, let's talk about some other inspirations.
Where am I?
Man, I fucking love Spider-Man. You know who's my favorite villain? Carnage. No, not that one. I think my love for Carnage is pretty self-explanatory. For those who don't know, he's one of Spider-Man's symbiotic villains. Symbiotic? Oh my god, I hate the fact that I can't figure out which one it is. A crazed serial killer named Cletus Cassidy has a perfect bond with a symbiote offspring, and what do you know? The psychotic serial killer becomes an even more psychotic serial killer. What I love about Carnage is that, especially in the comics, he's shown to be having a blast while doing something like chopping people's heads off and using them as like bowling balls. Or, saying this. But what I ended up loving the most is the more feral nature of how Carnage behaves. He's always screeching and moving around in a fast, animalistic, oh hey, wait, that's just Bloodstarved Beast. But yeah, Carnage was probably my intro into loving crazy ass, feral, bloodthirsty kinds of shit, you know? And ain't that Bloodborne in a nutshell? Mortal Kombat's always been badass and bloody, but more importantly, it's also been kinda fucking terrifying sometimes. Like, y'all remember the early days of the Crypt?
Where am I? What was that?
Yeah, I wish I didn't either. Devil May Cry was probably a huge inspiration as well, especially the early 2000s anime of it. I love the style and the grit of that show so much, and oh my god, the theme? Other animes like Soul Eater with their badass weapons and overall Halloweeny vibe, or early COD Zombies with its undertones of something more sinister and even demonic just lurking in the shadows of an apocalypse. Or Hellhounds.
Fetch me their souls!
Now past all of these, there's an obvious through line that's been happening. Man, do I fucking love horror. At least some things with elements of horror even sprinkled in there. Now that being said, Bloodborne is still a Souls game, so what got me to possibly play it instead of just watch it? Well, first was the Elden Ring hype. I didn't get these kind of games and I wanted to understand the hype behind them, so I watched a Bloodborne playthrough to get into it. However, after playing Bloodborne myself, I realized something. I've played a Souls-like before. Well, kind of, at least.
Trust only in the Force.
Jedi Fallen Order was a game that I thought was going to be dog shit, not gonna lie, and I think everybody else thought so too at the time. When it released and I eventually got to playing it because of all the good buzz it was getting, I really only was liking the more Uncharted-like aspects to it. You know, the train blowing up and just barely hanging on, or climbing on the side of an AT-AT to then man it yourself and then gun down the Empire. The actual combat was something that I wasn't used to at all. Now, granted, it's not as deliberate or as cautious as the Souls series would be, but it's definitely in the vein of Souls-like. Probably more akin to Sekiro, but on a slower, more Dark Souls pace. I learned to play this game with defense, positioning, and optimal dodging in mind.
Okay, I'm done. I can't get him. He's just dead. Come on, anyone? Help!
And was always praying for the next meditation site to make it past the loosely interconnected level design. It was only after I beat Bloodborne that I found out that there was a sense of familiarity to it all. The deliberate choice to not spam attacks, taking positioning into mind, and that oh so dreadful feeling of not being sure you're going to be able to make it to the next lamp. Except in Bloodborne, the difficulty is cranked up to an 11 with nightmarish beasts and eldritch abominations being the understandably tall task to defeat, but never impossible. I mean, in Bloodborne, your end goal is to pretty much kill God, or at least a god, and they say it with their chest, you know? No outsmarting the alien god, no narrative BS in the way, just motherfucking kill the thing, because guess what? You fucking can. It's that feeling that only Souls games have been able to hit me and many of us with. When life hits you hard, you just have to keep pushing back harder, and eventually, you will get over that hill. Not just because time wills it so, or that life just decided to give you a break. No. You take life by the fucking balls if you need to, and you achieve what you set yourself to achieve.
Fuck me, that took forever, but I fucking did it. Let's go.
Oh yeah, and I guess the COD World at War main menu music is probably why I like the creepy ass shit like Bloodborne's main menu music. Anyways, this video is a bit of a mess, but at the end of the day, I just want to talk to y'all about Bloodborne and what are the things would have possibly gotten you into it. So that being said, sound off in the motherfucking comments, please let me know. But yeah, I'm actually going to leave you guys with one request, honestly. If you really, really like Bloodborne, please, I highly recommend watching my Charged Heavy Attacks Only Challenge run on Bloodborne. It's my favorite video I've ever made and would highly appreciate it if you guys gave that video some love. So I'm going to leave a link for that video down in the description somewhere, and it's going to be right in front of your face in this video so that you can see which one it is if you just want to look down the list. By the way, I'm sorry if I sound awful in this final point. It's just my allergies have been going crazy for the past fucking week, and there's just nothing I could do. There's nothing I could do. But you know what? That's just my life. Gotta climb over the hill, gotta kill Radon. And with all that being said, please, if you've enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and seriously, somebody talk to me about Bloodborne for like way too long. And if you want to see more videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and yeah, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.